So, again, thank you for coming in.
No problem.
So it's November 22nd, it's now 11:37 p.m., 2021. Your name again, sir, for the record?
Matthew Adams.
Matthew Adams. Matthew, everything in this room is recorded, just to let you know, audio, video.
Okay.
Okay. What's your date of birth, Matthew?
3/28/90.
3/28/90. And a good phone number for you, sir?
401.
Yep.
451.
Yep.
2508.
2508. And I go to house, or you want his address? You can go to,
Yeah.
we'll go Commerce Drive. What are you out of? What station?
Today I'm working out of the Flint station.
Is that normal for you, or do you bounce around, or Commerce Drive?
Normally, I just got assigned to a new truck that's out of Commerce Drive, but over the past few months I've been bouncing around from the center station, the Flint station.
Okay. So obviously you know why you're here tonight. So we've had an incident. You guys were rescued what tonight?
2.
Number 2. Okay. You and a partner?
Yes.
For the whole night?
Yeah.
What was your partner's name?
Elena Keith.
Elena Keith. Okay. So the response to the residents in question 120 Melville Street. So can you take us through the whole, where you were prior, what happened when you got there? Just let us know. Just start at the beginning and go right through it with us.
Yeah, so we were on our way to the Center Street station. I had to drop something off there. We were I think we were at Broadway and the Broadway extension.
Okay.
When the call came in. Fire alarm asked us to respond to 120 Melville for, at the request of police for, I think he might have said gunshot victim or shots fired or something like that.
Okay.
So I had asked him if police were already on scene. He replied yes, so we responded immediately. We were right on Broadway, so we were there fairly quickly. When we got there was quite a few police already on scene in front of us, and then we ended up getting blocked in by a bunch more cruisers.
Okay. So you arrive on the street, and then you're directed to the house, is that correct? Or what happens? How do you get there?
There were several police officers going in at the same time.
Okay.
So we were following the police officers. As we approached the house, there was several police officers calling for, hey, get the medics over here, get the medics over here. When we entered the house, I guess there was some type of a threat, and then they said, they told us to stand by.
Outside?
Nope, in the house, in a separate room.
Okay. So that room is where? When you enter the house, which room did you stay?
Enter the house, take a right, maybe a living room, I guess. That was the room right there.
That you stood by?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the patient was off to the left of that.
That same room?
Yes.
Okay. So, continue. Yeah.
So they told us to stand by while they did whatever they had to do. A few minutes went by, and and somebody asked for a bag, like a first aid bag. So I just replied, "Do you need the paramedic in there?" And to which they said yes. I had sent my partner back to the truck at this time to go get the cardiac monitor. So I was by myself. So then I went in to see the patient. I found him. He had
Same room? Still?
So the room that they told me to wait in, now I moved into the room that the patient was in.
Okay.
So to explain it, the door to enter the house is here. I went into this room right here. This is where I was waiting. And then when they let me to the patient was in a room over here.
Okay, so it wasn't the same room. You described the room that you entered and were waiting at as like a living room kind of thing.
Yeah.
And where was the patient? What kind of room was that?
I would say it was like a bedroom.
It was a bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go over to where the patient is now, and what do you see?
There are a few officers in that room. They're attending to him. He was handcuffed.
Where was he?
He was on the floor.
Okay.
So I lifted up. They told me he shot in the stomach, so I lifted up his shirt. I saw what looked like to be gunshot wounds. So I asked that any of them if they had scissors or knives, and they helped me remove his shirt so I could better access the wounds. At that time, I saw the wounds were pretty serious. And then I asked the officers if they could uncuff the patient, which they did. And then we got him on a scoop stretcher, and then my engine company still wasn't there, and I just had my partner. My partner was back at that time, but she's a smaller female.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked the officers to help me carry him outside of the house, which one of them did.
Okay.
And while we were carrying the patient out of the house, the engine company arrived on scene, and they also helped extricate the patient
From the room and out of the house?
Yes.
Okay. So, how many officers do you think were in the room, roughly? Was it a lot? One or two?
It was probably like, in the room where the patient was, probably like 3 or 4.
Okay. And you said they were rendering some kind of aid at the time, or what were they doing? When you entered?
I mean, they didn't really have equipment, but they were kind of like just, standing by the patient, saying it's going to be all right, the medics are here, or something to that effect.
How was he positioned when you got into the room?
The patient?
Yeah, the patient.
He was on his back.
His back, okay, and his hands were behind his
Behind
back?
him, handcuffs, yes.
And at any point, did you move, or did you instruct the patient, like anybody help you move him? Obviously, you got him on a scoop stretcher, but prior to that?
Yeah, no. I asked the officers to help me cut his clothes off, because I didn't have scissors on me.
So you could access his injuries from how he was laying?
Yes.
Now, what was the room disheveled? Like, what was the condition of the room, do you know?
To be honest with you, there was a lot of people in there, and I was just focused on the patient, so I really wasn't looking around the room.
How about anything when you were around the patient, any kind of, did you see anything?
I didn't really
Did
notice.
you have to move anything where he
No.
was, anything anywhere?
No.
No.
Anybody make you aware of any kind of weapons that were around?
No.
Okay, and any other injuries of the patient that you saw, other than the two?
Just yeah, that's it.
Can you describe what did you have? Where were his injuries?
So,
You said stomach.
yeah, there was 2 holes on the left side with some looked like fatty tissue protruding from it.
Okay.
There was another wound in the epigastric region with 2 small holes, and then another wound on the right flank with 2 small holes here.
Okay. Did you see anybody, I know you were concentrating on the patient, but did you see anybody move anything at all?
No.
Okay. So you got him uncuffed. Did the police have to roll him or anything to get him uncuffed?
Yep, I was there at that time, so we rolled him towards me.
Yep.
They uncuffed him quickly. We rolled him onto the scoop stretcher, and that's when we got him out of there.
Did you see any hazards when you rolled him at all? You remember?
No.
Okay.
Nothing underneath him or nothing around.
No.
You see anybody move anything? In the room?
No.
Had you ever been in the patient's house before?
No.
Was he showing signs of life when you got there?
Yes, he was alive.
Talking? Or
Yeah.
Do you remember you saying anything?
He was saying that he was having a hard time breathing.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So from there, obviously, you put him on the stretcher, take him out of the...
Yep, we carried him outside, which the stretcher was right outside the door. We put him on the stretcher, and then we wheeled him to the ambulance, which was several houses down because of all the people there. Mm-hmm. And then we were treating him in the ambulance, just waiting for our ambulance to be clear to transport to the hospital.
Okay. When did he code on the way?
Not on the way, but he started to decline. We were going to transport to Rhode Island Hospital because that's the trauma center. So we began transporting there. Within a minute, not even, he started to decline. I told my driver to divert to St. Anne's.
Okay.
And as soon as we transferred onto their bed, he lost his pulse.
Okay. All right. Did you see any signs of anything that might have been on board, any type of substances or anything when you were at the house?
No.
Nothing. Anything of that you might think is important?
No, to be honest with you, I wasn't really, looking around.
Okay.
Just kind of focusing on the patient. That's all.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Was your partner right with you the whole time?
No, I sent her outside to get the cardiac monitor.
Okay. So did she see any of the handcuffs getting taken off or anything like that?
I don't think she was in the room at that time, but I can't say for sure.
But again, you didn't see anybody move anything, right?
No.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Give us 1 minute. We're gonna
Yeah.
check, and we should be one follow-up question or something. But yeah, we're gonna check with the bosses. And yeah, any questions for us?
No, I think
Okay.
from my standpoint, everything went well.
Yeah.
Right to St. Anne's and off at St. Anne's and into the ER, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's. That's why we're having you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to.
So we want to make sure we do this the right way.
Yeah, of course.
All right, thanks. Yeah, we'll be right with you. Give us a
You
couple
remember
minutes.
staying here?
Yeah.
Just give us a minute.
Couple
All
minutes,
right,
yeah.
thanks, guys.
A lot better. Do you remember what? So did you cut the shirt?
No, I was ripping it with my bare hands, and one of the officers had a knife, and he was helping cut it as well.
What kind of knife?
Um,
Did you see the knife at all? Was it
I think it was just like a black. I don't really know how to
like
describe
a folding knife?
Yeah, like ones you like flip open.
Okay. So it could have been like one you brought with him or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You remember who that officer was?
I don't know his name.
Did you see him get it out of his pocket or anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
he pulled it right out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he took it out, and it's probably one of those. You said you think it's a flip,
Yeah.
kind of like a pocket flip open knife,
Yeah,
whatever.
like use your thumb to flip
And then
it.
he helped you.
Cut it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you can think of that we might need to know, as far as scene, condition, patient, anything he said, anything that we didn't cover about the night?
No.
Did he say anything in the ambulance?
No. The only thing he was saying was he was having a hard time breathing,
Okay.
which is consistent with those injuries.
Yeah.
He got his lung pierced.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
No problem.
I think
All right,
so.
thanks. Yeah, take care.